أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So inshallah today we will start a new topic in Key Concepts in Quran series. Today's topic is Istiadha, seeking refuge. This is somewhat related to what we started discussing at Drexel on Friday. We might jump to that topic partially at some point as well, but let's see how this will go. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So this is from Surah An-Nahl. فإذا قرأت القرآن فاستعذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Whenever you read the Quran, seek refuge with Allah from Satan, the accursed. إنه ليس له سلطان على الذين آمنوا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. Surely he has no power over those who have faith and who place their trust in their Lord. This is the verse. There are going to be more questions today than the answers. So the answers will come from you, inshallah. So whenever you read the Quran, seek refuge with Allah from Satan. What does it mean to seek refuge in Allah from Satan? Although the next verse says, إِنَّهُ لَيْسَ لَهُ سُلْطَانٌ عَلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. Surely he has no power over those who have faith and who place their trust in their Lord. Seeking refuge from someone, like from whom would you seek refuge? Would you seek refuge from, let's think about it in the larger scale of politics. Would you seek refuge from, I'm going to use some random African country which I just know by name, Zimbabwe? Or would you seek refuge from China? Would you seek refuge from Russia or the United States, for that matter? Or some country which you barely know their name, so they are just struggling with themselves. They have no power over anybody else anyways. Seeking refuge. When do you seek refuge from somebody, something? We have a microphone today, if anybody wants to chime in. And since there are three sisters over there, I am assuming that one of them would like to talk anyways. So
So one of the things I thought, just like the first thing I thought of, we seek refuge from someone who has power over you or perceived power over you, or someone who you feel like can do you harm, even if it's not by force, or someone who can have a bad influence over you or something like that. So when you're talking about these countries, I thought about.
okay, so we are afraid of harm, but the harm should come from someone who has power, authority, something over me, like some sort of influence over me, right? So in this case, what is Satan? Does Satan have any power over you? I guess maybe this might, since the general theme is going to be seeking refuge with Allah from Satan, maybe we should open up a parenthesis and say, what is Satan? And do you guys believe in Satan, by the way? Does such a thing exist? That I am seeking refuge in God from that thingy. What does that mean? Does it have a place in my life? right? I mean, we heard about this from childhood. Yes, Satan is bad or whatever. But what is it? Because the verse is in here is commanding us to seek refuge in Allah from Satan. What does that even mean in the first place? So many questions here. I'm asking too many questions, but wherever you would like to start from. What is Satan? Does Satan have any power over you? If yes, what sort of power? If no, then why do you seek refuge in God from something which has no power, no authority whatsoever? Just continue with your way, right? So what sort of authority is in there, if at all? And it's not the only place, by the way, Quran is talking about seeking refuge from Satan. But yeah, any comments? Sister Dartu has some comments. No, should be something there. I think she might have made some friendship with Satan at some point. No.
I guess like what I was thinking about is what consumes maybe my time the most, which is something related to usually school, let's say, or whatever project I'm doing. And I think, refuge from the desire to think that I can control time. Like if I woke up at this time and did this work, this will get done. This idea that like I ultimately have control over my day, how it goes, what gets done, and how much gets done. I think that's what I seek refuge the most from, because that's the thing that I have the hardest time giving up, like if that makes sense. So I think when I'm thinking Satan, I think what distracts me the most from, I guess what makes it easier for me to forget there's a maker of time, of everything that I get to do and every decision that is provided for me. Like what makes me forget that usually is the desire to control every single thing in my life. So I think like for me, that's Satan necessarily isn't like, I'm not imagining a human or whatever. I'm thinking like what I'm most desperate for to grasp, which is time. So I think that would be like me looking back would be like seeking refuge from the desire to control over time, basically.
Okay, so then this is how you feel like Satan is in your life, I assume? Is that?
I think so.
Okay. Okay.
There was like double degree.
Okay, should be good. So, okay, then let's okay, sorry. So, okay, whatever is happening is happening. We are trying to figure out the microphone online, people. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, how do we get to know Satan? I guess this is our question at this point, right? Okay. Yeah, and Dartu is saying there are certain things in your life which you feel like you control things or can do it, sort of a thing, and you find this to be satanic. Why do you consider it to be satanic and, for example, not angelic?
I guess because I ultimately know I don't, right? Like despite the desire to attain time and putting, I don't know, 30 things on my list, I just can't get it done, or the day's over, or something happens. So like ultimately there is a clear recognition that I certainly don't have control over these things. So I think that's, to me, is what makes me realize, and the coming back to is obviously there is sign there too that what I'm doing is going more toward wrong.
Mm,
So there's another choice provided ultimately to go away from that satanic path.
mhm.
I think to me, that's why I consider it.
Okay, okay. And there are going to be interesting verses along these lines as well, like the whispers of Satan is going to be mentioned. So, like if you are in a room and you hear some word, and it might be some word, like let's make it a little creepy, really, in your room, you're in your room and you're hearing some sort of a whisper in the middle of night. Uh, what would you think? Like you're trying to is it me that I'm talking? You wouldn't say this, right? Because some voice is coming from outside, you can sense it. And either you'll close your ears or do something. So just the bare fact that some sound is coming is that it's external, it's coming from outside. So you don't take it to yourself. Such a thought, for example, comes to you that I can control this and that sort of a thing. So you say that this is coming from outside. Okay. But where is it coming from? And so I'm going to justify or identify this based on its nature. Like what sort of a suggestion, what sort of a whisper is this? Like, is this something meaningful or is it just meaningless, a lie? The reason you said it is a lie because it's not true. I know that it's for a fact I cannot control. This is how Quran is depicting Satan as well. Satan is coming up with lies. If we look how in the story of humans' creation, Adam alayhi salam's creation, Satan is really representing this baseless claims, baseless lies. So then baseless lies, how much do they have effect on us so that we are going to seek refuge in Allah from a liar? Like, it's not like we are seeking refuge from someone who is strong and going to just smash my brain. It's just a liar, simply, pretty much. What is the authority of a liar on you? What do you think? Do you ever seek refuge from social media, for example? Like, do you feel the urge to say that no more Instagram? Because it is depicting a false you or a false world, not only false you, but a false world out there. It is something like this. It's just like if you don't turn it on, you don't, like it's there, you are here. But seeking refuge, like the verse, specifically the verse that we read, فإذا قرأت القرآن فاستعذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Whenever you read Quran, seek refuge in God from Satan. Like, why would you seek refuge with God from Satan when you read Quran? What's the point? Like you're reading Quran. It's not like whenever you open Instagram, seek refuge with God from Satan, because Instagram, yeah, there are some shuyukh making posts here and there, but there are more threats in there. You are now entering into the territory of pure good. You're reading Quran. What does it mean to seek refuge in God whenever you are reading Quran? What does this mean? This is how you start reading Quran, right? You say, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim," and there are those nice musical versions of it. So, but what's the point? Why do you seek refuge in God whenever you read Quran? Okay.
I was thinking about when you reading Quran and like I guess my kind of way of answering the question would be that you would seek refuge before reading the Quran to prevent yourself from internalizing and allowing those whispers to corrupt to corrupt the faith you have or to corrupt whatever you are getting out of the Quran. And basically, like when you were saying, why should we seek refuge from a liar or from lies? I think like that's what that is, maybe because lies are dangerous because they corrupt, they poison anything, even if it's good. People who lie have not necessarily power or authority, but there is lies have the ability to corrupt anything. And you seek refuge from that corruption, I think, in my opinion.
And does this happen when you read Quran?
Sometimes.
So you're reading Quran and then lies also start coming to you.
I mean, I'll be honest, like sometimes it happens.
I mean,
But then it comes from, the lies can come to you and mix with your lack of understanding of things as well. So it's like you're reading, but you don't have a perfect understanding, and then you're interpreting things, and then you have these whispers, and then all of these things come and corrupt your mind and corrupt your faith.
is there anybody who doesn't have any whispers or lies when they read Quran? It doesn't come to them, or is it just Sister Aisha? If it's about Sister Aisha, then we can just blame her and leave the room and get done. So, because if it happens to everybody, I'm going to ask another question, because it happens to me as well. Why does it happen to everybody then? Like, apparently the creator makes this Satan thingy to corrupt us, isn't it? What's the point then? Like, you read, at least when we are reading Quran, let me alone. No, especially when I read Quran, it comes. Right? So why is this happening? Wouldn't it be nicer if there were no Satan? Like, wouldn't it be nice if there were no bully nation on earth and we were living in peace? And we don't need to seek refuge in this bully nation which is threatening us, and then we need to develop weapons to protect ourselves from them. Like, if no such horrible people existed, then we would just live our lives happily. We will develop, I don't know, nice things, not necessarily tools to kill each other, right? This is in larger scale. I guess this is what anybody would say about peace. But how about existentially? There's I mean, forget about nations or whatever. Existentially, there are those Satans who are corrupting us or potentially telling lies to us. And it looks like the creator talks about it, saying that, oh yeah, it was there even before you were created. Like, Satan has been there before a human was created. Or at least this is the moment human appears, Satan also appears in the story. So what do you think? What is the utility of the Satan? Yes, babies are good. Babies are good.
I guess I was thinking about like what the purpose is, because I think it's very hard for me to conceptualize like what Satan is, other than just like thinking my own day-to-day and everything that I do. But I think about like the environment that I'm in. So Satan is our desire to live in this world forever and to, I don't know, achieve and just have immortality, like be forever here and not die or whatever. So maybe if that concept is there, seeking a refugee from that would be a reminder. So I don't know if this is just like the weakness of being a human, and therefore I'm seeking a refugee from my own weakness. Maybe like that is the Satan, like, because oftentimes that's how I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I have this desires to attain as much as I can, even if Allah give me this, he gives me, because I'm like, this is good enough, no, let me get more. So like I seem to have at least those kind of traits, but the traits can be bettered like any skills, the more I seek refuge. The more I seek refuge, the more I'm not so focused maybe on attaining this worldly life, and I recognize it for what it is. So I see the lies. Like the lies are much more easily seen if I have a trained eye, or I wear my glasses properly, which would mean maybe seeking refuge more and more. So I guess like that's how I'm picturing it, is that I start with already existing tendencies.
Okay, I mean that's actually this is where we should start from. That's good. Like I need to think about Satan. Like if we maybe go to the Quran to understand, you explain me what Satan is, and then we read story of humans creation. In there, there's this figure Satan who doesn't prostrate to human Adam, although all the angels prostrate to him. So this is the first place that we see Satan. And then he is like boasting or showing arrogance, saying that I am better than him, like human. You made me out of fire, him out of clay. So there's the first what's it, identifying property of Satan, like arrogance and saying that I am better than him because, and then causality comes in, because I am made out of fire. So Satan in this regard is depicted as this liar who believes in like he's a naturalist, he believes in causality. Like this is sort of the picture that Quran is putting when it talks about Satan. And even Satan comes, and it's not that Satan says, okay, whatever, I don't care about human. It has a lot of relationship with human in this regard, and tries to trick human, like interacts with human and says, if you eat from this tree, you're going to become eternal and whatnot. So this is where we learn that Satan is being depicted as this liar who gives baseless claims. Now, when I come to myself, if this is my story, where do I hear those false premises? Throughout my life. It's everywhere. There are certain things in this creation which do not prostrate to me, number one, because angels prostrate to you, but Satan does not. Like everything in this creation, trees, sun, moon, everything is praising the Creator and helping me to remember my Creator. But there is this certain whispers which makes otherwise, which says, no, if you get this promotion, you will be proving that you are worthy. This is how your value is defined. If I cannot wake up and like sleep, I say, oh, I am lazy, I am less worthy. If I wake up on time, I get this, self-respect. I am worthy. So these are the type of things in my everyday life, whispers I keep hearing. But then, what's its utility? Like, why is it there? How is merciful Creator not prevent such a thing? It would be nice if all of us were like angels. Nobody's inviting us to parties or anything. If only anybody invites to anywhere, it would be to Quran studies or to prayer or anything. Wouldn't it be nice? Like, how can we say that when my Creator says, whenever you read Quran, seek refuge in God, wouldn't you say, oh God, I mean, it's okay, but wouldn't it be better if you just take the Satan out of the picture? Then we wouldn't need to worry about it at all. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced having too many of those whispers. Maybe you have seen people who lock their door, walk 2 steps, and then say, did I lock the door? Come back, check it again. Or some people who take wudu and then say, did I really wash this side of it? Wash it again. That's really, I guess, an extreme case of whispers where it's totally getting out of control and it's becoming such a burden. Like life becomes a torture. But this is on the extreme, but it's the case across the board. Okay. Yuda didn't want to come today. Okay. She also wants to wear her shoes as well. So Satan, especially after reading this verse, it looks like my creator, all-powerful, all-knowing creator. If he invites me to seek refuge in him, then it should be like Satan is not there to corrupt me. From Satan's point of view, if I can bear such a perspective for a moment, maybe the purpose is to corrupt you. But why does my creator put such a thing in here? Or why does my creator create a setup in which I'm going to be under the threats of Satan? Then this should become my question, so that seeking refuge becomes a meaningful effort for me. It shouldn't be like, oh, I'm afraid of Satan, and hence, like, why shall I seek refuge? There should be I don't know, a meaningful effort in there. I don't know the enemy. I don't know the act that I am doing, seeking refuge. What's the point? For example, let me give you an example. It looks like I'm making it so abstract and it's not going anywhere. So, seeds. If you bury the seed under the soil, moisture is it good for the seed or is it bad for the seed? Moisture. Is it good?
Good. You mean like pouring water?
Yeah, you're pouring water. Like in general, for example, and there are ladies there, they probably are a little more experienced than William in the kitchen. Wherever you are storing your beans or rice in the kitchen, is it a good idea to make the environment moist, or should it be stored in dry place? Dry. Because if you put moisture into the environment, they are going to go bad. They will start rotting. If you plant a seed and add moisture, you're rotting the seed in a sense, because seed is dying, but a plant is coming out of it, right? So it might be that and not all the seeds are coming out of, I mean, it's not always the case that plant comes out of seed. It's not always being the case that plant comes out of seed, right? I mean, if you put, have you, like in your high school, have you never done experiments?
I did, and they came.
Always, all of them? Okay, Sweden has high quality.
I think I put like 2 or 3 maybe.
2 or 3. Yeah, I mean, you put, let's say, 10 seeds, 5 of them come out, the other 5 doesn't come out. I mean, 8 to whatever. But why? Moisture rots it. But for some plants, this moisture becomes a means for finding, quote unquote, the truth, which is becoming a plant. But if you're a lazy, let me use metaphor, if you're a lazy seed and you just get too much comfortable in there under the soil, you just rot. If you don't want to get above the soil, above the ground, you can rot under the soil as well with the same moisture. So it is the death of seed, but it is the new life of the plant. So Satan is corrupting us with lies. How does it help us grow? Yes.
I mean, I'm just thinking because of the other discussions we had that it serves us because it teaches us things that it teaches us that these are lies, it's not true, and that the eternity that we're seeking, it's with with our creator. But I don't understand really. Like I understand, okay, that Satan serves us to teach. He serves to teach us something because our creator wants to teach us things, and he's one of the tools. But we're also told to seek refuge from him. It seems like a bit yeah.
What do you think? So how because it looks like, I mean, the reason that I am sort of depicting Satan as such is, yes, really moisture is something that you would like your seeds to avoid because it's really harming the nature of the seed. But it could have a good use. It does have a good use for the seed itself as well. So Satan is like moisture coming up with lies. And when I'm going to read Qur'an, Satan will come and does come with lies to me as well, right? So, okay, focus here. Okay, we got a little distracted. So Satan is coming up with those lies as I'm reading a verse. Or let's expand it a little more. I am reading the book of universe. I am in the biology lab and I see a monkey there and I see a human here. And Satan comes and says, oh, this monkey eventually became that human being. Or on the dish, you see two cells. One of them is very similar to the other one. And I say, oh, like, let's say it's not billion years of distance, but it's two similar two cells. And I say, oh, this cell eventually became this cell. Well, forget about evolution. You just see two cells and one cell splitted and became two cells. This cell made that cell. Satan comes with such whispers as I am trying to read the book of universe. Another ayah from the Qur'an written out there. How do you seek refuge? How is this a lie? And how does it teach you the truth? Because seeking refuge, whenever I am going to read Qur'an, is what my creator suggests. So you can take it as, whenever you enter into your biology lab, seek refuge, because you are going to read Qur'an in the biology lab, like reading cells is another type of Qur'an because it's signs of your creator. Seek refuge from Satan, the accursed. Now, a few question comes. Yes, we do hear those whispers in the biology lab as well. Okay, that's given, that's granted. Everybody is aware of that, right? Or in psychology class, wherever you go, or in even the basketball field, right? You score and you say, I did it. Or the people that cheer says, yeah, you got it, right? So there's a whisper, satanic whisper. It is maybe human satans are cheering for you, saying that you did it, man, right? It's another type of whisper. How is this useful for you? Number one question. Number two, how do you seek refuge in God from that whisper? What does this mean? Practically, what does this mean?
So can we answer the contradictory question too? The fact that the one created you.
So the contradictory question was, it's useful, yet I seek refuge. Okay. So,
But I didn't have an answer.
So if I was trying to teach you self-defense, okay, and then I hired some bully from the street because I feel like you have to learn it the right way, which means learn it from an actual, by defending yourself from a bully, right? Not somebody pretends to be a bully, but a bully. And then I say, but whenever he comes, like he's tough. And without facing such a real threat, you won't be able to learn. This is why I'm hiring the real guy for you. But whenever he comes, seek refuge in me, because as he's trying to like attack you and whatnot, from me you will learn how to protect. The answers are with me. Seek refuge in me from the attacks of it. Oh, we will get to there. What does it mean to seek refuge? Seek refuge part is clear, but what does practically it mean to seek refuge? Is it just a word? Is it just a mental state? Like, how do you seek refuge in God? Because you know what does it mean to seek refuge in the United States when it comes to things, because you say those guys have weapons with which they will give it to me, like Ukraine nowadays is seeking refuge in the United States with the hope that they will give them the weapons which they will use against Russia. Like seeking refuge has a meaning there, right? It's not simply mentally, Russia says, sorry, Ukraine says, oh, I seek refuge in United States and oh, mentally I am safe. No, they practically would like to get some weapons to defend themselves against Russia. What does it mean to seek refuge in God? Okay.
Because if we use the example you used, one way is you ask, right? Like you ask the country, hey, will you be willing to let me seek refuge by providing me with external whatever? So I'm like, maybe that's a prayer. And then the other is like, usually you seek refuge from a war zone and you move, like that's an actual, something is happening that physically you're removing yourself from a space. So I feel like, isn't there multiple ways to seek refuge also from God, from Satan to God?
Yeah, and this is our topic, right? How do I seek refuge and what do I expect out of this, right? Because normally it seems to be a word in our mouth, and I do get the prayer side of it, because if you realize your neediness and you just show your neediness to your creator. But when you say, for example, you also pray for the food. When you're hungry, how do you pray for food from your creator? You go to the kitchen and cook something. Like you're asking for help in a certain way. How do you seek refuge or ask for help from your creator when it comes to defense from Satan? Because now that we sort of identified what Satan is, there are those lies. Our college education is full of such lies in this regard. I voluntarily go there every day, and this is my career actually. And then how do I seek refuge from such set of lies from my creator? And with my creator from those lies. What does this practically mean, right? To take attending Quran classes, okay. This is what I was doing in high school, like 9th grade. There was a philosophy novel, The World of Sophia or something like this. I read it in Turkish. It was a history of philosophy. This was the novel. But, my dad is also at home, and we are iffy about philosophy when it comes to philosophy. What I was doing was I started reading one book of Nursi just so that my dad sees I'm balancing, But the philosophy book was much more fun for me. So I was reading like a few chapters from the philosophy book and then just 1-2 pages from tafsir, saying that, okay, you look bad, it's balancing. It didn't balance anyways, but yeah. How do we seek refuge? Like practically, there should be some practical thing that comes to mind when I say I seek refuge, as the verse is suggesting. Whenever you read Qur'an, seek refuge in God. So far, what we understood from this discussion is there is Satan. Okay, we identified this. How do I know this? Because I hear those lies, those whispers. So everybody is in agreement in that. Good. The second thing, weird thing, was those whispers happen maybe even more when I read Qur'an. Either the Qur'an, the book, or the Qur'an of the creation. They happen even more. Okay, we are also on the same page that this is something weird. Now, my creator is saying that, yeah, this will happen, seek refuge in me, then our question was, oh, our creator, why don't you deal with Satan rather than me asking me to come to you? You get rid of Satan, right? So our answer for this one was, maybe Satan is useful, because this is why he keeps it there. It's part of my education. Then after all this conversation, we come to the point that then, okay, let's say that Wooly is a useful Wooly for my education. Then what does it mean? And how do I seek refuge in my creator to protect myself from these lies? What does this practically mean in real life? This is where we are. This is the last question that now we are dwelling on. Since this verse is commanding us to seek refuge, but then how do I seek refuge?
What I think, I don't know. Like if I don't know, if the world is filled with ayats, filled with signs, and so is the Quran, and we're supposed to seek refuge from Satan, who is useful to us by showing us lies, presenting lies, things that are not true. And the way we learn is by, oh, we accept them and we learn that, oh, shit, that's not true. Then I think also that then the way of, what's it called? Seeking refuge would be to find the true answer, like to actually look for the truth rather than, but I mean, then I would also, then Satan would prove useful because I will know at least, oh, it's not over there. It's probably somewhere over here then, or like, I don't know, just looking for the actual answers. But I don't know how to do it.
Yep. So, like, it is, you have an answer there. Go ahead.
Maybe one way to also seek refuge is by like internally admitting to yourself that you don't have any power or control when you are engaging, like when you trust too much in yourself to understand it, or you approach I guess it's maybe like a warning of like, okay, don't approach the Quran thinking that you've got this and you're gonna get it. And even when you're in the lab, for example, you come in and you're like, okay, I'm the scientist, I know what this is, I know how to interpret from the monkey to the human, I know what's going on. I think by seeking refuge, you are literally, I feel like internally you are relinquishing that that pride, I guess, or that feeling like you know what you're doing, and then coming like to the next part of the ayah, which is like putting your faith and putting your tawakkul in Allah. I feel like that could be maybe when you seek refuge in Allah, you're letting your ego go.
Yes. So two things. One is human is really learning why is Satan useful. If you think about it, human really learns by comparing. You get to know things, and like you start with learning something small, then a bigger one. Like initially, probably bicycle was the best tool for you in your life. It was such a luxury relative to your food. Then you buy a fourth-hand car, then you find it to be the best blessing on earth. Then you start getting a newer car, you get on a plane. Like by comparing things, you tend to learn what it is, what is good, what is bad. This is how human learns, by contrasting things. So Satan is meant to be there to show me lies so that I can distinguish truth. But without truth, if all I have would be lies, I will need to seek refuge in somewhere which is going to be the source of truth for me. I will realize that, okay, this liar is there, and especially we are living in an age where liars are speaking louder nowadays. So in such an environment where there's so much noise, and many of this noise is just lies, what do? You need to seek refuge in either, I would say, I will figure it out myself. Like I am smart. In this case, I am seeking refuge in my own intellectual capacity. Or I would say, oh, my maker, guide me to truth. I am coming to you that you lead me to the path. Because what's wrong with saying that I will find the truth? Is there a feasible path? Like, can you do it with trial and error? How much can you do with trial and error? Because it could have been the other way around. Wherever you read Qur'an, keep trying, keep just because there. What happened with Adam alayhi salam? He ate from the tree, and he realized that it was a lie, right? Because Satan was offering him eternity from the tree. He ate from the tree, nothing has changed. So he realized that it was false. And now he says no. But how does he find the truth? He didn't find the truth in Satan's option. He found the truth by turning back to his creator, like seeking guidance from his maker. So where do I turn for finding guidance? Even when I read Qur'an, there are going to be those whispers, but where am I turning for finding guidance? Am I turning back to my creator? Or am I saying that I will figure out myself? Where do I position myself? And what does the verse say? إِنَّهُ لَيْسَ لَهُ سُلْطَانٌ عَلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. He doesn't have any authority over those who do believe, like it's in the like who keep doing the act of iman. وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ, and who has trust in their Lord. How is this answering our question? I think we can find an answer in this later part of the sentence to our question about Istiadha, like seeking refuge. Satan doesn't have authority over someone who has belief and who has trust in their Lord. Meaning, those are the people who are going to be, vigilant for the lies. How is this the case? Brother Birkan, if you gathered your thoughts, it might be a good time for you to chime in. I mean, if you have, whenever you would like to. Any ideas? Iman and tawakkul. Tawakkul in Lord, by the way. على ربهم يتوكلون.
Just because, people requested. Like even when we start thinking about seeking refuge, like we reading this ayah, let's assume without knowing anything about Satan, Rab, Creator, and the ayah says seek refuge from X in Y. I think at least to me, the most beautiful part of reading Quran and studying such ayahs is thinking about very fundamental, basic human actions or human condition that we always find ourselves in, but we never think about them and take them as granted. So seeking refuge, for instance, if you ask anyone on the street or even your family, in whom you seek refuge when you have a trouble, something like that, people would have difficulty to answering such a question, right? Because we don't seek refuge. We just follow the rules, social rules, for instance, or social norms. We follow the rules of engagement, like the war. We follow the rules of diplomacy. Right? There are all these systems shaped for us, and we just, follow the rules. We do our best finding the solution. Even if you ask Zelensky, right? Something Zelensky, the Ukraine president, whom you seek refuge, he would say, we don't seek refuge in anyone. We just give them something, right? We share our rare minerals with them, and they provide a weapon to us, and they are protecting themselves against Russian influence on Europe. It's a win-win situation. Nobody is seeking refuge in anyone, he would say. So this ayah, it's beautifully reminding us that seeking refuge is there in your life. And you should consider changing where or whom you seek refuge in and from what. So then you start questioning, just seeking refuge part. You start questioning, am I really seeking refuge in anything? Right? Because when I want promotion, I just talk to right people, not because I'm seeking refuge in anyone. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is the best strategy you follow. And when you think about it, you say, oh, wait a second. If I had the power myself to give myself promotion, I would do it. It seems I don't have the power. It seems I don't even have the knowledge so that I have to consult on my boss or somebody else, right? You open up, as sister said, you find out that in your life, almost in every action, like almost maybe there is unnecessary, every action of yours, you realize that you don't have what it takes in your pocket, and you have to ask it from someone else. You always find yourself in a situation that you need to be protected from something, protected from failure, protected from, I don't know, the annoyance of my children. She didn't sleep well. She will start crying in a minute. I know it, and I need protection from that. Right? You realize that this is you. You seek refuge in something every time. I think when you understand that, that's the main message of the ayah. Like, let's say 90% of the ayah is already understood.
How about the Satan part?
Then you start asking, like, what am I seeking refuge from? Okay? You keep questioning again. With your promotion, you realize that you were looking for this promotion because you thought the promotion will be your means to success or means to respect, means for wealth, means for, I don't know, the well-being, all these things. You start questioning that as well. And then with all your training, la ilaha illallah, etc., you start seeing that, okay, all these falsehood making me do all these things. Right? And maybe I should seek refuge from all this falsehood. But in what then? Because I cannot seek refuge from the promotion will give you well-being lie in my boss. Because if I do that, he will say, yes, Birkan, you're right. You should get this promotion. It's the only way to get more X or Y and Z. Right? It won't work. So ayah hence says it should be something else. Look for something else. something else that can really protect you from all these lies. And I cannot find it anywhere in this creation. Everywhere I look in this creation tells me the same lie. And then I say, okay, there must be something else that I can seek refuge to. And Allah comes as a conclusion then.
Jazakallah khairan. So, Iman and tawakkul, trust in my Lord, is something that nullifies Satan's lies. So Satan's lies are baseless lies, needs to be countered with conviction. So there's going to be Iman opposing to that. So saying A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim then practically should have two meanings. First, I'm realizing that I don't have truth in my hand, and I am open to those false reports. Those whispers come to me whenever I go to the lab. Those whispers come to me whenever I open the book, Qur'an as well. So how do I find the truth in this case? So realizing my neediness is a good step. Like this is something that I need to do. And seeking refuge in the one who creates me, mentally speaking, this is a good initial step. But how about the practical step for doing this? This is the important part. Okay, let's say I did understand that I am needy, but just like when I realize I am needy, that I am hungry, I don't, like you can sit there and say, yes, now that I am feeling my hunger, I haven't eaten anything since the morning, I have no power, no authority. Oh, my creator, you are my sustainer. I understood it. But still, I go to the kitchen. So when it comes to seeking refuge from Satan's whispers, whispers come, and I realize that I'm not able to figure out the answer by myself. And then I say, oh, my creator, you show me the path. I am seeking refuge in you. Mentally speaking, that's a good state. Practically speaking, though, where do I go to? How do I seek refuge, practically speaking? Then I go to the messenger. Because there's this practical manifestation of how teaching has happened. Like, can I, if I am starting to take it serious, like it happens, my students come to my office, I catch them for cheating or something, I give them a 1 hour monologue, just tell them that how bad it is and how important it is to study and whatnot. Actually, it happened. One of the students last term came and he failed the class, and I gave him what I thought was a inspirational talk. He's taking the class this term. He's the same. But I thought after the talk, he said, oh yeah, this is very inspirational. This is very good. That was it. Like mentally speaking, it looks like he agreed. But he didn't take it serious to like practically seek refuge from what was harming him. So for me, when those whispers come in the lab, and I am studying 8 hours in the lab, 5 days a week or more for the past however many years, I am already so much open to those whispers. And at best, I am realizing that, oh, my creator, I don't know how to figure out this. Because it looks like this evolution that I am trying to somehow prove in the lab. I disagree with it, but I don't know what to do with it, let's say. Or whatever your research area is, okay? How do I seek refuge in my creator practically as well? There should be another way of practically seeking refuge in my creator too. This is where a few examples, or practical suggestions would then come into the picture. One would be, I'm going to feed myself from not the tenets of philosophy. Tenets of philosophy is what things happen by themselves, or we don't deal with metaphysics. We just talk about whatever is the matter. Looking to the Quran as guidance. But this verse is saying, even when you read Quran, seek refuge in me. What does this mean? Seeking refuge in my creator is, my Lord would provide me a teacher as well. Because since I'm referring to the word Rab in here, my Lord who gave me those problems, in a sense, the metaphor Imam Nursi uses for this one is, if your Lord gave you the stomach, he also gave you the food. Like the way he creates the need, he creates how to sustain this need as well. If he gave you this need for guidance, he must be giving you the teacher as well. Now that the teacher is out there, go and benefit from this teacher. This is how you practically seek refuge. So to make it practical, following the prophetic practice is a practical way of seeking refuge in the Creator. Do I look at things from a prophetic lens, or do I look at things from a survival of the fittest lens? This is a sunnah. Like, how would Prophet look at events versus how would Karl Marx look at events? Or how would what was our evolution guy's name? I forgot him so much. Darwin. How would Darwin look at events? Which lens do we have? So seeking refuge in Creator by following prophetic practice, prophetic sunnah, is the practical outcome that is given to us, or in a sense a weaponry that's given to us that we can seek refuge in, that we can benefit from. So inshallah, I will conclude here for today. And there are many more, but inshallah, we can continue next week. Any concluding questions, remarks, or the parts that you would say, we talked about this, but I didn't understand?
No, it's not really. No, I'm just having thoughts, but I don't know yet if I know it. So,
Okay,
if I
you
can-
have some thoughts, but you don't even know what you're thinking. You need to put it together.
Yes.
Okay, you got confused. More questions than answers. Okay,
It's not related. Or it is, but it's not. at the same time.
okay. I mean, I'm just trying to really put a lot of things from seemingly unrelated places into a single pot. This is why it's not very coherent as well. So there are things on my end too. Like I was reading, Imam Nursi has a chapter talked about the wisdom of seeking refuge. And in there, he talks about 13 different aspects of it. And I was trying to touch on 2 or 3 of them. So, of course, he explains it in a more coherent way in there. But the topic itself is, as I was reconsidering that text for the past 2 days, it's so multifaceted, and it's a thing that I think I know, or I take granted for so much. Like we feel like we know what Satan is, which probably we didn't put much thought into. What is its position in my life? What is seeking refuge? What is the wisdom in there? Like to the extent that I realize these, then it will become a thing in my life rather than, or more than just a word. So this was the effort, but inshallah we can continue next week, unless Sister Dart would like to say this point didn't make sense at all.
It would be easier if she said this point made sense.
Yeah, to count less number of things.
Seek refuge.
Okay. Okay, inshallah. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين